Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another wonderful episode of Coast to Coast Lifestyles with myself, Heather Kusipa, in the Seattle East Side area. And you got Cassie Webb over on the Mississippi Gulf Coast with Elevate Real Estate. So we got a fun episode. We're going to be talking pretty much just general market stuff. One of them is we're going to be talking a little bit about January stats. We're going to kind of look at just what we kind of expect to happen this year. So go ahead and kick it away, or kick it off, whatever. There you go. Words are not coming to me today.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I will take it away. We've got the our market stats from our MLS of our Association of Realtors have come out this month, which is cool because sometimes we're a little bit ahead of their numbers being finalized and coming out. So I thought this was interesting. So obviously we're always a month behind because that's the month that's closed out is January. So number of sales, we went from 378 last year to 359. So our number of sales was down. Our average sales price for the first time in a while that I can remember was down. So 244.9 last year, 237,938 this January. 65 days on the market last year, 73 days on the market this year, this January. Sorry, last January as opposed to this January. And our inventory is up a little also. So 2196 homes for sale and 2232, which if you'll see, that's 2232 houses that we have in our inventory, but yet only 359 sales last month. So our inventory is relatively high right now. So last year, there were a lot of people who put the houses on the market, withdrew them, which I think we talked about last week, kind of what happened with the buyers. And a lot of them chose to cancel their listings actually proactively, whereas more people usually just let them expire. But people were like, screw this. I'm taking my house off the market in hopes that they could relist it this year. And we still have the majority of the year in front of us. But I mean, just looking at January, our numbers were a little bit down from where they were last year. So we'll talk about predictions in a little bit, but that's kind of where we are locally. So Heather, tell us where you're at, and then we can kind of briefly go over what we think the rest of the year is gonna look like for us.
Heck yeah. So I didn't get it keyed up, so sorry about that, but we'll talk through numbers. So for Seattle's East Side, we are seeing a really interesting shift. We have a significantly higher number of active sales right now, which means a lot more sellers are bringing their home to the market, which is awesome. And we're seeing also an uptick in buyers. And so our inventory from last year to this year went up 0.3 months. So we're at 1.8 months of inventory, which for us is pretty healthy, and it's also not a lot at the same time. But what was really interesting is that we also saw a downtick in median home value. So last year for January, we saw 1.7 million for our median sales price. This year we saw 1.4 million. And the biggest reason that we believe caused this is because we have so much more inventory. So we're just seeing a bit less competition. So instead of there being that massive shortage and people just willing to bid whatever they need to in order to get a house, now they have a few more options. So they're just not having to fight quite as hard. And we're also, because of this, and we'll get into this a little bit more later too, spoiler alert, but we're also seeing that a lot of the average person has been a little bit afraid to move forward because we're also used to the COVID market still. And now we're starting to see buyers become a little bit less nervous. Sellers are becoming a little less nervous. People are moving because they have to move. So we're also seeing what I kind of have been referring to as a normalizing market, more to pre-pandemic levels. So, and that number just really shows in our stats in the East Side. We're also, this time last year, we saw over a quarter of our places going multiple offers, and now we're seeing about 6% going multiple offers. So that kind of further exacerbates that that information. But our days on market too, we're seeing, for things that are selling at list price, we're seeing an average of 30 days on market, which for us has become a long time, but nationally it's really pretty average. But still, if you're going multiple offers, you're still going in 5 days or less on average. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're seeing. It's just been a really interesting shift and working through it. But Cassie, do you want to talk through kind of what, kind of piggybacking off of that, what do you feel is
I don't want to say it's the same as last year, because I think last year we have predicted, and when, if you go look at our last episode, what actually ended up happening was we predicted we were going to enter into a more normal market, and that did in fact happen. But because, and I really am not a favor of this term, but I'm about to use it, a new normal kind of a thing, you know? And so it's like the market normalized to a large degree last year, but this year it's like, it's going to feel normal because it's our second year of being normal. So it's like a normal. So what's cool but different is last year we were trying to figure out what normal even felt like or what it was. Mm-hmm. And fun fact, today the interest rate average per Mortgage News Daily, and they update, you know, multiple times a day, but was 5.99. And so, yeah, that's exciting when you see like the average. So I had someone that just got qualified for a VA loan at 5.5%. And so we're definitely seeing more and more fives. I do think, barring some external influence, you know, by the government or some other entity, I think that we're probably likely to kind of hover around that high 5, low 6 kind of. Today we're at 5.99. Tomorrow maybe we'll be at 6.05. Next day 5 point, you know, kind of like teeter-tottering right around that 6% range. But I think that as wages increase with the drastic increase that we had with the home prices, and people kind of adjust more for the taxes and insurance and things like that changing, I think that that's gonna, like, inflation's almost gonna catch up with it, where we come back into a more affordable price point. Now, affordable for your market is very different than affordable for mine, where your normal buyers are buying $1.4 million houses, and my normal buyers are buying $240,000 houses. But either way, I think that, you know, it's just really kind of word of the year is normal. So I'd love to hear your final thoughts on 2026, and kind of if you agree or disagree or have some different thoughts to give on that.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much reflect everything you just said. We'll be kind of teetering that 6%, give or take a little bit, range for interest rates this year, which is going to be great. I think that that's going to bring some buyers out as we're flirting with that 5% range. And just in general, yeah, people are starting to realize that, hey, this is just kind of how things are now. And having them just make their move, as we've discussed in the past. So I think that you stated everything pretty perfectly. And I think that's more or less going to be just how it's going to be nationally. Like you said, we're going to see a little bit differently just because of the difference in our markets. But the same idea is still going to be there across most areas.
Yeah, and I think even in our very different markets, I mean, we kind of saw some similarities with prices. Inventory's up a little bit. It's prices, supply and demand. It always is in every industry. And our inventory is up, our supply is up. Mm-hmm. Demand isn't, you know, quite meeting that increased supply. So we have a little bit of a softening. Things are hanging on the market, going for a little lower, or the ones that are selling are the ones maybe a little more in that average, you know, price point, or the lower end of that average even. So it's reflecting in our average price and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the year pans out, and we will be here all of 2026. So we definitely look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Yep, it'll be fun.